got a T-shirt with bloodstains all over it. Maybe laundry isn't your biggest problem right now.
I remember the day the candle shop burned down. Everybody just stood around and sang happy birthday.
And a security guard came over and said, "You're gonna have to move. You're blocking the fire exit." As though if there was a fire, I wasn't gonna run.
You make love to the right woman, Johnny, is beautiful, beautiful. I mean, the last time I made love to my wife, it was ridiculous. Nothing was happening. I looked at her, I said, "What's the matter? Can't you think of anyone either?"
I never learn, you know, like a waitress will bring my meal. "Hey, enjoy your meal, you too!" But you don't have one, do you? I'm a doofus. If you do eat, enjoy it when you eat it. If you have a break or something later, if you get an opportunity, that's all I'm trying to say. That's all that I'm driving at, really.
Hello, welcome to Comedy Think Tanked, a podcast with Leonard Kimball and Nick Gordon, two comedians who know how to take a drink and have a thought. Sit back, get comfortable, and enjoy. Now, whether they're ready or not, here's your hosts, Leonard and Nick.
People only tune in to our podcast to hear us beatboxing. They're like, thank goodness they're back, because I really missed the beatboxing.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't even remember how to do things.
I don't even remember either.
So normally we go like...
hey, everybody. Welcome to Comedy Think Tank podcast. It's Nick Gordon here with my best comedy buddy, Leonard Kimball.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Good. How are you? Where the hell have you been?
I've been right here recording podcasts without you. Sorry.
That's fine.
I invited you here today to tell you that...
It's over. It's over before it even begun.
Yeah, you know that box you stepped over when you came here to start recording?
That was my stuff?
Yeah.
From the office?
I want to grab that on the way out.
Yeah, I saw a dead potted plant in there. And a stapler. And a ruler. And some pens and pencils. I appreciate the time, though. It's been grand. No, we're back again. We had our good friend Ian MacDonald on.
Yes, the newest member of the River Comics.
Yeah, he's a super funny guy, super talented, multi-talented, another multi-talented person. We keep running into these people who actually know how to do more than just talking to a microphone. He plays the drums and he teaches drums and he does good comedy and drives a Subaru and multifaceted. He's a 5-tool player.
Is that a sports reference?
That's a sports reference, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's all right, though. I forgot how to do this, quite honestly, but at the same time...
So normally what we do is you and I talk for 4 to 64 minutes. And then eventually we're like...
Let's hope this is a 64-minute.
And then we eventually cut... And we
to that interview.
Yeah, we splice in the interview. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh,
it's going to be so seamless too.
I can't wait to hear it.
There's cool music too, I think.
I think there's cool music.
Yeah.
We do want to apologize to our fans and listeners for the extended hiatus.
Yeah.
During the winter of 21-22 because it's I don't even dare say the date, but it's April. So anyway, no, we've missed you all. We're glad to be back. We have some other content that we're going to get out real soon.
Yeah, from the archives.
We'll
dive into the archives and release those as soon as possible.
Yeah, because we definitely did some other recordings that I think were funny, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they were funny.
Yeah, you know what's not funny?
No, I do not know what's not funny.
A comedian getting slapped.
Oh, and yet we laughed. Oops.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, actually. Like now looking back at it. What are we, 2 weeks removed, a week and a half removed from that whole fiasco during the Oscars?
Right. There was someone who made a joke like it seemed like this happened like years ago.
Right, I did see that. That was very strange.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were definitely talking about it as like the end of comedy almost, where you can't make a joke anymore because someone could come up and hit you. And what's your thoughts?
Well, no, people can't just come up and hit you because in normal situations,
you hit back.
Well, you either would hit back, or someone would actually stop you, or they get tackled off stage, or they would get escorted out, or they get immediately arrested, that sort of thing. It's like,
have you ever seen YouTube videos of comedians being assaulted, quote unquote, on stage, where like someone's throwing a glass at them, or someone's running up on stage and trying to get at them, and like the brief little melee that ensues from that? Have you ever?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you must have. Like they'll have it on like what's that show? Ridiculousness on MTV.
Oh yeah, that was just playing out front.
Not a sponsor of us.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. But or like a TMZ video or something, they'll have like a comedian getting attacked, and it's a very different situation because it is like mano a mano. Like it's like, oh shit, someone's gonna swing at me. I guess I'm gonna swing back. Whereas Chris Rock, like there's one still photograph. It looks like he's cocked his fist and he's ready to hammer him. But most like in that setting, he was like, oh, he took the hit. It was very shocking.
Yeah.
To him, and he just like rebounded. He stumbled around for a couple minutes, but then moved on with the show. But in real life, a man confronts you on the street. He's the enemy. The enemy deserves no mercy. No.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done. I suppose in a normal situation that I actually could find myself in, not when I'm on television,
right?
Being viewed by millions of people. Like, say I'm just on a normal stage, or I'm at CBU and someone jumps up on stage and takes a swing at me. I probably would defend myself, I guess. I don't know.
Would you, my first reaction might be to hit someone with a mic or with a stool or something. Or like like a lion tamer, like you pick up the stool and then you use the cord from the microphone to.
Well, that's why we have a whip inside the little cubby hole there.
That's true.
Yeah,
our listeners don't appreciate the site here that we actually have like a. I don't know. It used to be a fireplace or some shit.
Yeah, people call it the dungeon
on the stage.
Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, that's part of my joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you definitely have options of defending yourself on stage, I feel, if someone never actually does. But I can't imagine someone doing that because a person knows, like, hopefully they're sober enough to realize, like, this is comedy club, this is a joke. Maybe it hurt a little bit, but everyone else is laughing, and that's the point of being here. It's just for laughter.
Yeah, I guess, I guess that joke escalated pretty quickly. I mean, it was only one joke, so there's no escalation. It was like one joke and then immediate reaction.
Right.
I suppose it
wasn't a good joke either, by the way, folks. Like that wasn't like
no. Well, I guess when you know, okay, so I'll skip ahead. But when you know what she was going through, then it's like. But I wasn't aware that she had a condition.
No, neither was I. But I'm saying like a G.I. Jane reference.
Oh,
come on,
sure.
How old is that movie?
I don't know. I think it's. Oh, I'm gonna get canceled here. I think. I think not knowing what she was going through.
Yeah.
I thought it was an okay joke.
Okay.
Not the funniest thing ever, but I got what the joke was. I just didn't realize that
there was so much connotation behind it.
Right. Well, you're making fun of her actual medical condition, so that's when it becomes not funny. Yeah. And I didn't know that. So, but like. Damn, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
The
joke being funny. The joke being.
Well, sorry. No, I was going to talk about something else.
Edit.
Damn it. Oh, I had it.
Actually, let's not edit this out.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's fun to watch you struggle.
It's fun to watch you struggle. Damn it. What was I going to say? But it had something to do with like... Oh, I get it. So how quickly it escalated, because it was just like one joke and then it escalated to violence.
Right.
We would think us as like, amateur comedians or whatever we want to call us, professional comedians, semi-professional comedians, whatever. We get paid for comedy, whatever. Yeah. But like if we're on stage and we're doing something and we realize that an audience member is legitimately upset with us.
Oh, sure.
Chances are people like you and I would just fucking stop.
Backpedal.
Yeah. Be like, oh, sorry, moving on, because like the audience here would probably take their side, no matter how funny the joke was or not.
Yeah.
So like, we're trying to actually build a comedy community here, a comedy room, a scene, where it's not in our best interest to
attack people verbally.
Right. We can only fit like 45 people in here. Yeah. If we're attacking one of them.
that is very true. I actually have to apologize publicly about when I first started 7-8 years ago, whatever it was. I said something to somebody who was in a wheelchair. And,
oh, really?
And I thought like, oh, this is great. You know, I'm a comedian, and I could say something and then make a joke about this guy being in a wheelchair, and it did not go well. And you know, I would say for that moment, I'm very sorry, but also for the fact that I thought that I could be funny in that, and then I wasn't good at it either.
Okay.
Whereas now, if I do a little crowd work, I feel like I do just enough where it's like, this is funny, but I do try to stop before I say anything actually mean to someone, unless they're being a jerk.
Right. Because then in that case, you've got the audience on your side.
Yeah, exactly.
And so hopefully you're embarrassing the jerkiness out of somebody to get them to calm down. Maybe they're heckling, or they're talking, or they're on their phone, or whatever, not paying attention, or whatever.
But none of your jokes, none of my jokes, none of the people that we work with, generally speaking, have jokes that are so offensive that you would think that someone in the audience would be that upset that they would decide, like, well, time to go attack this comedian.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've been told that someone got up and walked out on one of my jokes.
But that's the proper reaction.
Right, that's the proper reaction. Yeah,
like if you don't like it and you don't want to,
my jokes are awful. Just get up and leave. I don't need you to attack me. Yeah.
Well, you know whose jokes aren't awful? Ian MacDonald. Segue. That's good. Ian MacDonald is a very funny dude, and we were so happy to sit down and have a chat with him and get him on our podcast finally. So without I was about to say it.
Without further ado.
Yeah. Without further ado, we got to look up a different way to say that. Here's Ian MacDonald, everyone. Enjoy.
Are we recording already?
We are recording, but we haven't actually started yet. So
okay.
But like I'll.
Will I know when we've started?
Yes, because it'll be obvious. One of us will say like "Welcome to the podcast" or whatever.
I'm gonna need something more clear than that.
Like a slate or something.
You just punch me in the groin when it's time to go. Yeah.
We probably should just say we've already started.
Well, I want to make sure you know how things go. Have you listened to episodes before?
I mean, if you do hit me in the groin, just give me a little recovery time.
Sure.
Before expecting me to actually speak.
Just the breathing.
I have listened to every episode of Comedy Think Tank.
More than I've done. Wow, that's pretty good.
How would you edit it without listening?
It takes a lot of talent. Trust me.
Yeah.
Have you heard some of them? You can tell the ones. You can tell the ones that I edited without listening to.
Okay. Yep. When you put it that way.
No, we've done well. Leonard's done very well. We have to get back on the horse though here.
Like fuck it, send. I like it when he sends it at 1 a.m. to me. Like, will you take a listen to this real quick? I'm gonna publish at 5. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I'm
on it. I'm awake.
Okay.
Yes, I have listened to every episode of
the
podcast, but I didn't know that it was scripted.
Mm-hmm. Is it scripted?
We should have some papers that we shuffle every now and again just to make it sound like we're doing something. No, this is the Comedy Think Tank podcast. Ian MacDonald, our guest.
Welcome.
Well, are we starting now?
I just wanted to get that in there before people were like, what the hell are we listening to?
Oh, okay.
These idiots are just...
No, I think we're officially starting.
We're officially started.
Yes.
We're actually...
starting.
We're starting now.
Nick expects me to use the last 10 minutes of our banter
Parts of that would get used, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know who's in charge of editing this, but it's so much easier to just cut that out and just start where we actually said,
should we start over?
Don't you usually, you got to do like a hand clap to sync up the video with the audio, right?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
There we go.
Here we are.
Okay.
Comedy Think Tank podcast with Ian MacDonald.
Hello.
Live from the Topsom Mall. What's this? The Topsom Crossing Mall?
Fair Mall.
Topsom Fair Mall. And here inside the Music Center. We appreciate the space. Nice quiet space. No children running around.
Yeah, it
thanks.
was really nice of them to let us be here.
Does your arcade Miss Pac-Man there work?
It does work. It's on one of those smart outlet dealies. So it's only on during certain hours of the day.
Okay.
I could probably figure out how to turn it on, though, if you want to play a game.
Yeah, sure. Let's put the microphones down and just play for a little while.
Just play. Okay. Just play with ourselves.
That's not what I was saying, actually.
Do you like playing Miss Pac-Man or do you like regular Pac-Man?
I like both, I think.
What's your favorite video game of all time?
My favorite video game of all time? Probably I play a lot of Diablo 3.
Oh, what's that? What's that about?
That's not an arcade game. That's like a PC game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I put in I put in several hundred hours on the PC version, probably about 1,000 hours on the PC version.
Christ on a cracker.
Yeah, that's sadly not a joke. And then they released the console version for the Xbox 360, and I bought that, and I put in several hundred hours on that.
Wow.
I mean, eventually, doesn't Diablo just fucking give up? I mean, how many times can you kill him?
A lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He is Diablo for crying out loud.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I got it for the Xbox One, and I play that pretty regularly. Well,
that's interesting. We've known each other a little while now. I didn't realize you were a gamer.
Yeah, I'm not so much a gamer. There are a few games that I play quite a bit. But yeah, no, I really like the Blizzard games. Sadly, some of the members of that company have done some stuff recently that yeah, so we'll see if Diablo 4 actually ends up coming out or not.
That's
but yeah, it really is too bad.
Their employees have got a lawsuit against them. Right?
Yeah, there's a pretty big Me Too lawsuit happening, to my understanding.
In the video game industry that's dominated by men.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the...
I don't know any of this, so I'm being educated at the moment.
I didn't read too much about it. I just heard a bit about it, and
interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm not super involved in the whole gaming industry goings on, but in terms, I don't follow that stuff too closly. Most of the time when a new game comes out, it's a surprise to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right though, because
what? Another game?
I know.
I'm so surprised.
I'm always amazed when
they need more of my money.
Out. Yeah.
That's okay, because we're actually here not to talk about video games, but to talk about comedy. Because that's what we have in common, and that's actually what the podcast is about. Is comedy.
It's been a while. I forgot what the podcast is about.
It's about. I think it's about comedy.
I forgot too.
Everyone loves to laugh, as the great Mike Gray has told us before.
I'm glad someone told you.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
So how long have you done comedy?
Yeah.
What are your comedy origins?
My comedy origins. So in terms of actual stand-up, I did my first open mic in November of 2018. And
really?
Yeah.
It wasn't one of ours, was it?
No,
Okay.
no, it wasn't. It was like a rescheduled date. I don't think it was supposed to happen exactly when it did, but it was Black Friday, November 23rd, 2018. and it was at Suntiki in Portland.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was like
Portland, Maine.
the Jim Martin.
Yeah, Jim and Nikki
Nikki.
Martin were hosting it.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically what happened was a good friend of mine, Steve, told me that he was going to be doing this open mic and suggested that I do it also. I had been hanging out with, I have 3 really good friends, Nate, Steve, and Julia, and the 4 of us would hang out and write jokes. And we did that for probably a couple years before I actually got on stage for the first time. So Steve was like, hey, there's this open mic happening that the Martins are doing, and we all knew Jim through the music scene.
Okay.
Because he's at Buck Dancers.
And you knew him that he did comedy also.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I'd found out that he did comedy, and he was really the only person that I knew personally that actually did comedy. So Steve was like, yeah, Jim Martin has this open mic that they're hosting. I'm going to do it. You should do it too. And I was like, I don't know about that, but I'll come and support you, And he was like, no, bring your jokes. Steve said, bring your jokes. And, just in case. I was like, okay, well, I'll bring my jokes just in case, but I don't know if I'm going to go on stage.
So you were just writing for fun, and you weren't planning on going on stage with these jokes?
I never knew whether or not I would actually ever go on stage and tell my jokes in front of people. I have pretty bad stage anxiety. It's really diminished quite a bit more recently since I've been performing quite a bit now. But I had wanted to be a stand-up since, I don't know, pretty much as long as I could remember. I always liked the idea of performing in front of people, and I love performing in front of people. I just get super, super nervous before I go on stage.
Oh.
It's gotten better now. It's not so bad now. It's actually almost scary when it doesn't happen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you still get excited to go on stage? Do you still get that
Oh,
that rush of like, all right, here we go?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, absolutely. It's it's amazing. I would want to do it every single day, multiple times a day if I could.
Fuck
know?
So tell us about that first time at the Suntiki.
Oh, I was so terrified. I showed up there and the place was pretty much empty. It was just the owner was there.
An empty open mic, really?
Yeah. So it was
It's been known to happen.
It was actually a pretty crazy experience. So it was the owner of Suntiki was there. The Martins were there. My 3 friends, Nate, Steve, and Julia, and myself, and we were there before anybody else. The room was completely empty, and this was a sign-up sheet with, maybe like 10 spots to write in your name or something like that. And so my friend Steve was like, I signed up. You should sign up too. And I was like, oh, well, you wrote your name in number 6. So he's like, yeah, I'm not going first for the open mic. I was like, oh, okay. And I looked at Nikki Martin, and I hadn't met her before, but I looked at her and I said, so if I write down my name in 1 through 5, do I get to go 5 times? Do I get all of that time? She's like, no, that's not how that works. Like, damn it. So no, I ended up putting my name in 3rd, and then I found out that Marcus Cardona was featuring, and I didn't know him at all. Like I said, I didn't know anybody else from the scene, but they're like, oh yeah, he's back visiting. He's a comic in Brooklyn, in New York. I was like, okay, so a guy who's performing in New York. Oh, and Conor McGrath is on too, and he's voted twice funniest in Maine. I was like, I have to follow these guys for the first time I ever go. And then the room filled up, and there was like 40 people there.
Oh, okay.
But I got it on film, and my friend Nate filmed it for me, and it went well. I got laughs. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't got laughs, because I almost fainted. I thought I was going to throw up before I went on stage.
Oh,
like
wow.
I had to remove myself from the room, go in the bathroom, like splash water on my face and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
That is intense.
Yeah.
You know, no one actually dies.
I know that
someone's going
now.
to Google the time when someone was found
Dead.
not
From stage
unresponsive
fright.
in a bathroom before open mic. Like,
And it's true. The death to stage ratio, stage time ratio is pretty low. I think there've only been like 3 comedians that have died on stage.
I think there have been comedians who've died on stage, but not because they were scared to be on stage.
Oh,
just because
yeah,
they were
no, it's-
very fucking unhealthy.
Oh, it's yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
no, I'm teasing.
unhealthy comedians.
Yeah, no. Have you seen the three of us?
That's why there's an audio podcast.
Yeah, exactly. No, anyway, I'm sorry. That's
But you got some laughs.
I got some laughs.
And you didn't
yeah,
die.
It went well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it went much better than I would have expected.
And did you start off in the current sort of style that you have now, sort of like one-liners, dry,
Yes.
that sort of thing? Okay.
Yeah, and that kind of stoic, non-reactive, dry, deadpan kind of thing, I think mostly came out because I was terrified. Like, I think it was my
Really?
reaction to being nervous. And
you don't think that's part of your personality, though?
it might be. I don't know. I think I find myself to be just a bundle of energy. Most people
I think you in day-to-day world are far different than what you are on the stage. I think you're definitely acting a role or a part on the stage. You're doing a persona that is a part of you, I think, but I don't think it's a major part of you. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
You're not a bundle of energy, though. You're not a big ball of fucking light.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times a day I'm told to calm down.
You live with your mother?
Not anymore.
Okay, good.
I did until I was
Ian, calm down.
I think I was 19 when I moved out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not.
Yeah.
We're not talking. That's not what this podcast is about.
That's not what we're talking about.
No, but
My dad was living there too at the time.
interesting.
Yeah.
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 Did you have a good childhood growing up?
Yeah, it was good. My family is super supportive.
That's awesome.
They always have been.
Yes, your mother comes out all the time.
She does.
Yeah.
Yep. My dad comes to shows too.
Does it? Yeah.
Yep. I think most of my family has come to see me. I think the only ones.
So what's that like?
What's it like? Yeah. It's great.
Tell us how it is to know your parents.
No, but really, I think it might be a little rare, at least for me, to get a lot of like your family coming out to not just one show, but multiple shows. I mean, I see your friends and family coming out supporting you really often. That's really it's really awesome.
It is. I'm really very fortunate and appreciative of them to come out, because obviously you want people in the room, and it can be a little bit kind of odd sometimes telling jokes to people that you know. I actually have a harder time telling jokes to people that I know than people that I don't know.
Sure, I can see that.
Yeah,
right.
like I'll find myself like having a hard time keeping a straight face if I know the person and I'm telling them a joke.
Right.
Or, I might laugh at my own joke if I know the person. But if it's somebody who I don't know, it's for some reason I have an easier time kind of not breaking.
Well, there must be some psychological thing to that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have any idea.
No, neither would I. I'm just
just
trying to sound smart without actually doing any work.
Yeah, I also get nervous when there's a bunch of comedians in the room who have heard my jokes before, And then I think to myself, like, oh, they've heard these 7 jokes that I'm going to tell, and I feel a little bad saying it again.
Yeah.
But then I think like, oh no, but luckily there's 40 people in the room who haven't heard these jokes.
Where are you doing comedy?
Like, I'm going to tell the jokes to those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be tough too. I do try not to tell the same jokes for the same audience, and a lot of times I'll kind of base that on the room that I'm performing in. So obviously the more often you perform in a room, the harder that would be. Not to be telling the same joke every single week and that sort of thing.
You yourself have a weekly show at Stroudwater Distillery that you host almost every week, and that you have hosted almost every week since its beginnings with you.
Yeah.
How do you try to change that? Because at least as a portion of the people in that room, the bartenders, if no one else, who have heard the same things from you a couple times now at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you constantly writing and trying new stuff, or?
Yeah, I do. I aim to write every day. I don't always succeed at that. I was trying for a while just to write down like 10 things a day, whether they're funny or not. Just because I think that's one of the things that I've learned is that if I sit down with the intent of writing something funny, it's not going to happen. You can't like force something funny. But if you get all of the stuff out of your head that's not funny and get that on paper and get it out of the way, and then weirder things maybe start to come out. Or if nothing else, you've got a bunch of ideas, and then you're like, okay, so here's my premise, or here's my setup, and now, where can I take this? Like, what kind of direction can I go with this to make it so that it is something funny? Like,
usually the weird funny thing comes when you're in the shower or driving in a car and you can't actually sit and write.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's finding that place in your mind between the conscious and the subconscious, I actually took a pretty interesting course when I was trying to meet my unemployment requirements for the pandemic assistance alone in my apartment. I took a course. It was learning how to learn, and it was
learning how to learn.
Learning how to learn.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I probably should have taken it before I started kindergarten, but a little later in life, I guess it's never too late to learn how to learn, as they say.
As they say, did they say that a lot?
Well, in the class, they said that.
As I've heard it said.
People say.
Someone told me once it's never too late for you to stop being an idiot. No. Yeah, I took this course, and it was really interesting because it was talking about the way that we're able to, the way that our brains take in information, and then how we can keep that information, like ways to memorize things, ways to learn the information that's important. And it was helpful because it was talking about also the creative process a little bit, and kind of talked about like ways to get into this kind of other state of mind, as I said, kind of in between the conscious and the subconscious, like you were saying, in the shower, or like driving down the road, or like right before you fall asleep, which is always the worst time because I started keeping a notebook with a pen right next to me in bed.
No, it's a good idea.
Yes,
I was envisioning you cuddling with a notebook.
I mean,
stroking its tassels.
Yeah.
Tassels on your notebook?
It's leather bound.
Sometimes you want to be held, and other times you just want to hold something else. I don't know. But yeah, no, it was helpful to kind of like figure out, and they were talking about people who invent things and the way that they're able to, methods that they use for that creative process, like Edison and Salvador Dali.
So it's like the history of learning to learn then.
It got into that a little bit.
That's interesting, yeah.
I don't know. I have a tendency to get really into certain subjects and like understanding like processes and the way that our brains work. I nerd out on that stuff for whatever reason.
No,
I don't really know why, but yeah.
So would you consider yourself a student of comedy then, like someone who's always trying to pick it apart and rather than just watching to enjoy it and saying like, oh, how did we get to that point where we have this joke with this punchline and that setup and that sort of deal? Like, are you more mathematical about it? Do you think?
I think so. I don't know if it's intentional, but it started off watching a lot of stand up, and I come from a really funny family. Everybody in my family is always cracking jokes, and so I never really like thought about how to write a joke. I just knew how to write one, just because
you knew how to get to the punchline the fastest.
Yeah.
Was it a big family, like where you had to be competitive at the dinner table just to get a word in, or?
No, not a big family. Mother, father, brother. So the four of us. But we have a pretty close extended family, which is pretty big. So example, Thanksgiving was kind of like a big thing for my family. It's actually kind of a nice story, I guess, in a way.
Tell us a nice story.
Would you like to hear a nice little tale of a little story?
Quick little. Want to talk a little
so
yarn, a little.
My grandmother met my grandfather when they were in their mid-30s, I think, maybe a little bit older than that now that I think about it. But they married the year before my parents met. So this is not my biological grandfather.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Like time travel.
Yeah, no. They each had their own family with children, and they met later in life. They were both divorcees, and so when they met, it was really important for both of them that in that marriage, the two families became one family, and they really wanted everybody to get along and stuff. And so Thanksgiving was kind of the one holiday where that would happen. And so we would have these big Thanksgiving dinners with there would be 40 people there, something like that.
It's quite a few.
Yeah. Like big, 3 8-foot tables with every,
Did you have to eat in the yard?
Yeah. Yeah. I had a little shed out back that I would go out and eat my turkey, and if I was allowed that year, if I had been good enough.
You're dropping into your character, your stage character.
So we would all get together, and this is actually I think where I first started actually writing jokes after the meal. And we would go on a walk and then come back and have pie, and then we would play games. And one of the games that we would play, my family called Fictionary. We had this old 2nd edition Webster's dictionary. I actually have it now. It was gifted to me, and it's I kid you not, 2 feet thick. It has words in it we don't use anymore.
Does it have its own little table where you leave it open all the time and there's a lamp on it?
I should really do that
in a law library. Where people are just flipping over trying to.
Yeah, no, I really should do that, but actually,
That would
right,
be funny. That's
yeah,
funny.
no, my table was a little wobbly though, so I'm using it to keep it stable.
2 feet up on one side.
It had. It only
Okay,
had
it was a
3
lot
legs.
wobbly, if we're being honest.
Why do my dishes keep falling off this
Yeah.
table?
I really, I wanted to pay the proper respects to the dictionary, so
Okay.
that's where it's living right now. No, but I do have it, and it's pretty cool. So we had this game called Fictionary, and they've actually made a purchasable board game version of this game now.
You getting any royalties?
No, sadly not. I don't know who brought the game to the family, but yeah, I think the board game version is called Balderdash.
I've heard of that game.
You've heard of that game? Yeah.
So how do you play Fictionary?
So Fictionary, I think the version that I think I've heard other families call it Dictionary, but basically you have everybody at the table takes a turn going into the dictionary and finding a word that nobody at the table knows the meaning of.
Okay, right.
That person writes the word down with the real definition, and then each person at the table writes a false definition. And then they all hand in their answers. The person who chose the word reads each of them out loud, and everyone at the table makes a guess as to the correct definition. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
that sounds fun.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. And so when I was too young to play it, either because my reading or writing skills weren't there yet, but my family was playing this game, I would sit and watch, and I always got a kick out of the answers that weren't serious, that I would have, there would be like a play on words or maybe a little story or a limerick or something using this word that no one knew the meaning of, and everyone at the table would laugh, and I want to do that. I want to be the one doing that. That's what I want to do. And so as soon as I was old enough to be able to play the game, that's what I would play it. And not every round you don't come up with something funny every single round, but like that was my first experience writing a joke.
It was really preparing you though, because not every joke hits. You know that
that's
now.
true also. Yeah, definitely. Jokes about flatulence usually go over pretty well.
Yeah, but like suicide, not so much.
No, not with your family.
Yeah.
I learned that actually also on the stage, because I have a couple dark bits. You're talking before about performing with family and friends, and like I said, I love having my family there. I want them to be at every show if they can be there. I always love seeing them in the audience. I did notice though that some of my darker material does not go over as well because they care about me.
Well, or you
really?
that's what you think, or they look at you in a different way. And when you're trying to be funny or trying to write something smart or something dark or something, they don't. That's not how they see you. I learned that quickly because my family came to a couple early shows, and like, he's funny, but that's not how he's funny. And I'm like, I'm funny, like with you guys just messing around, but I can't do that on stage. And these people, that's out of context for these audience members. So I actually have to write something that's funny, and I'm still working on that.
Yeah,
and it's hard to do, and they don't know that Nick, and there's like a triad of people going, you on stage and your family there going, I don't know that person on stage, but the crowd saying like that person's not funny or whatever the case may be. It's hard to connect those dots, I think. That sounds outlandish, doesn't it? Did I make any sense at all?
It made some sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing because my family does not attend shows much anymore. I mean, they do, but it's not like you want them there all the time. I don't care if my family's there or not, because when they're there, it's like, it's nice to see them, but it's more work to try to make them understand what it is that we're all trying to do. And it's just weird.
So to make them appreciate what you're,
they're there to see me,
right?
Or they're there to see their family member, whoever it might be. But that's not the person that they know at the dinner table. That's not the person they know at home. So it's kind of weird you have two different things going on.
Okay.
It's a strange thing.
Yeah, I think I get it.
And I'm really just kind of coming up with it now on the spot. It's now that Ian's talking about it, like, and I'm thinking, why? I wonder why my family doesn't show up. But that's what it is they don't know who that person is up there.
I'm guessing Leonard's family doesn't show up because they don't live nearby.
They live in Chicago.
Yeah, no, unfortunately. But I mean, his wife will come and you know she'll sit and watch. And I've actually never. I don't know. Does she laugh at your stuff? I don't think she thinks you're funny.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. So,
no, because I test out jokes on her all the time,
and she's like, "What are you doing?" But you're
right.
But when you're standing in the kitchen, and you guys are joking about your son or your daughter or whatever. Like you make her laugh, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're funny in that way to her, but that's not who you can be on stage to be funny there.
Right.
So it's like two different people.
Yeah. When she does come to shows, it's more like she gives me feedback on the other comedians who were on the show.
Yeah, sure.
She's like, "Oh yeah, that first guy or that last guy was really funny," or whatever.
Or Nick is funny.
Yeah. Sometimes. She's like, Nick's got to keep working at it.
Yeah, he might have something someday.
Who's this Nick guy you're talking about?
Oh, it's somebody else that we've met.
Oh, okay.
We have other friends besides you.
Oh.
No, that is very interesting stuff.
So I really didn't know that you had started so recently in comedy. I just assumed you had done it quite a while. Longer than me, at least.
Yeah, it was 2018, November 2018, and then I wasn't able to find another open mic until April of 2019. So it was like 6-month gap, pretty much, in between that first time and the second time I went up.
What the hell were we doing then? That's when we started our open mic in November, 2018. I
realize. I feel
we got to
like...
advertise better, apparently.
Well, I just didn't know anybody.
Yeah,
you know. It's like there were 6 open micers, and then the 2 features on that open mic that I'd done that the Martins hosted.
Right.
And I didn't really get a chance to talk to anyone. I was still kind of recovering, I think, from my time on stage. But
catch him while you can, folks, because he might not be back for 6 months.
I ended up, so I ended up doing the next open mic I did was at the Thirsty Pig in the Old Port. Again, it was hosted by the Martins, and it was like April vacation. Because I teach drums, so most of my students are in school. So, and I'm teaching them in the evening. So, a lot of the time, at that time anyway, like the only time I could get out to a mic was, or get out in the evening in general, was if there was like a school vacation and I wasn't teaching.
Yeah.
So, I went down to this mic at Thirsty Pig in Portland, and Jim said, "Oh, are you going up to Empire after this?" I was like, "I don't know. What's going on at Empire?" He's like, "Oh, there's another comedy open mic." I was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Joe DeShane's hosting." I was like, "Wait, Joe DeShane, the guy I went to high school with, is hosting a comedy open mic at Empire? Yeah, I'll go to that." So I ended up, the second time I went out to do open mic, I ended up going up twice that night, which is pretty good for Maine. Being able to get on a mic more than once in a night is good. And then later that week, I went to Bare Bones. There was I think Mike Gray was featuring. You mentioned him earlier. He was featuring a show there. I think you guys were there. I know Leonard was there.
I think we were there. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I ended up going on there, and that was the first time I met Mark Turcotte and you guys. And Mike Gray and my old art teacher from high school, Stephen Amoroso, was there.
Oh yeah,
Stephen. Yeah. You know him, yeah.
Yes.
We used to do bits when in class.
Oh really?
In high school, yeah. We had a couple bits that we did. He let me do a bit as one of my art presentations. I was supposed to be talking about a painting, and I was just making up stuff about it. It was a lot of fun. He's another person that definitely helped me kind of form my sense of humor, or my idea of what humor could be. So I was really pretty thrilled to see when he was doing stand up too. So yeah, he and I started about the same time.
Nice.
Yeah, that was kind of how I got into the scene. And,
so we probably were there for your 4th time on a mic, and we've been there since. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Damn. I would have assumed too that you had just been doing it for several years, and well, I mean, at this point, it is several years. But
wow, yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's a huge compliment.
I have to ask? Your style is similar to Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
Is he somebody that you have watched and taken notes on, or is that just a coincidence?
I'd say yes, I've watched him. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily striving to emulate or be like anybody else in particular. But I am a huge fan of Stephen Wright.
You're a huge fan of comedy. So
I'm a huge fan of comedy.
You can't not be a fan of Stephen Wright. But, I get it. When I was starting, like as a kid, and my mom will tell you that I've been doing comedy all my life. She'll if you talk to her at a show, she'll say that I've been preparing for this my entire life. She's very annoyed by that, though.
Yeah. It may have appeared that way from the facial expression I was making. No, yeah, I was annoying, and am still. No, I watched a lot of like Monty Python, the Three Stooges, Marx Brothers, a lot of older stuff, like generationally stuff that probably shouldn't. I watched a lot of like black and white sitcoms that haven't been on air since the 50s. Like, Green
like you were
Acres.
watching,
really?
You were watching like what's it, Nick at Night.
It was basically shows that were like recorded off of Nick at Night.
That's funny.
My uncle, who lives in Boston, we didn't have cable growing up, but he would tape, Three Stooges and stuff off of the local TV show there in Boston, and they would show like Green Acres and the Beverly Hillbillies and this show Car 54,
Wow.
which I don't know if you know that show, but it's pretty amazing. A couple of people from the Munsters were on it. So I grew up watching a lot of that stuff and a lot of cartoons. Like I'm a
Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes. One of the things I did during self-isolation in the pandemic was I bought as many of the Looney Tunes as I could possibly get on DVD. I found this.
Bought them?
Yeah. I found a site is like maximizing Bugs Bunny, and it had like a pie chart that broke down all of the DVD releases and how to get the most unique Looney Tunes cartoons for your $1.
Nerd.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I bought a whole bunch of
I think we all
nerd.
should get rip roaring drunk and go watch every episode of Bugs Bunny that we possibly can. That sounds like a really good time, actually.
Looney Tunes, The Simpsons.
You weren't self-isolating then. You had all your friends.
All of them.
Have you watched all The Simpsons? I know you're a fan.
I'm a huge fan of The Simpsons. I have not seen every episode. There was a time there when TV went digital and you couldn't use your rabbit ears anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like a little resistant to that, I guess.
You're an old soul.
I am an old soul. My uncle once called me a Luddite.
We'll have to look that up.
You don't know what a Luddite is?
I guess I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's like someone who like shuns technology.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought that was a Lutheran.
But I didn't. I didn't buy anything online until
Presbyterian. No. What's the thing? What's the shaker? Is it It's a
Amish.
Amish. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Mennonite.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The first online purchase that I made that wasn't a concert ticket, I think, was in 2015.
What? Yeah, but no. I think 2015. I don't know that I would have made an online purchase before 2015 either. Quite honestly, yeah, I don't know. I maybe from a very specific website that we probably can't name. No, that's a joke.
Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
It's like Adam Eve.
No. I have to wonder. I have to think now. I don't know, honestly. I don't think it's a bad thing. I like to hold don't you like to hold things?
I like the brick and mortar.
Yeah,
experience.
exactly. Like right here, just on the other side of the door, there's a music center here.
Yeah.
And we have all these beautiful guitars and other instruments and whatnot.
Yep.
Here in Topsom, if anyone looking to buy anything, it's
Yes.
a great place to shop. But I wouldn't want to go buy one of those off the internet. Would
No,
you?
absolutely not.
And from that down to a little toy for a kid at Christmas, I want to be able to touch it and hold it and see it. So I don't have any issue with that.
Yeah, it's the same reason I still buy books. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to get a Fire Stick or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
I don't even know
I'm getting worked up. I'm getting worked up.
Is this Fire Stick? I don't
No,
think that's
it's
what they're called.
Kindle.
Kindle.
Yeah, it's fucking
I knew
stupid.
it had something to do with burning. It seems like a bad idea to put books.
It's kindling.
Their biggest seller is Fahrenheit 451.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. All right. Since I did bring it up again, we're here at the music center where you work as a drum teacher and a salesman.
Yes.
When did you get into music? Tell us about that.
I started playing, I banged on pots and pans and all that stuff as a kid. But I started playing music when I was about 10 years old. I started taking drums through my school, elementary school, when I was in 5th grade. So I've been playing for almost 30 years now.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did band. Started off just had a snare drum. It actually, so I wanted to do drums. I almost did trombone or saxophone. I really liked the idea of the trombone. I thought that was a cool instrument.
Just because it moved?
Yeah, I think it's just the funniest of instruments. Really.
Actually, it is one of when the people when they do that, that whatever the hell. Yeah, it's with the trombone, right?
So yeah, I had wanted to do maybe trombone or saxophone, but I decided on the drums. And my parents came home with a bell kit, like a little glockenspiel kind of thing, like mallet percussion, like ding, 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 ding. And I was just I pitched a fit, I broke down crying, which is really out of character for me, honestly. And from what I've been told by my parents too, I was not a difficult kid in that respect. But yeah, I threw a fit and I was crying. I was I wanted to play. Wow, this is pretty embarrassing. I wanted to play the drums, and so they brought the bell kit back and got a snare for me. And I just had a snare drum that I was learning on for a number of years before I got I think it was 5 years before I got my first and only drum kit. I have another kit now, but the only drum kit that I've ever really used or played out with. And so I did concert band and jazz band at school, marching band, but I never took formal drum set lessons until I got to college. I was pretty much teaching myself, applying what I was learning in band to the drum kit and figuring it out on my own. And then I studied with the late great Steve Grover at University of Maine Augusta. Did not graduate, truth be told.
Yeah.
I dropped out.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
It happens.
I tried to go back to USM and dropped out there too. So 2-time dropout.
Are you still paying your bills?
Oh yeah.
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 So they'll get their money no matter what. Don't worry about it.
Oh, they've already gotten it, but that's aside.
No.
Yeah.
Well, so you didn't actually take a formal drum lesson.
Yeah,
you're
no.
saying.
I took a couple of one-off lessons when I was in high school because I needed to learn a technique for my bass drum foot. And this, I don't know if this is making any sense or not.
It is, because you're now teaching my son how to do some stuff, and which I appreciate, and and he's telling me things that I've never heard of before. So
Yeah,
I'm learning as well as him.
Oh yeah, no, and it's great, and I I learn a lot from teaching too. I think that's one thing that I wasn't necessarily expecting when I started teaching was how much I would learn just every single day from every student that comes in. I learn something.
That's nice.
It's amazing.
That's
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
What do you learn, getting back to comedy, what do you learn from watching other comedians as we go through our process of producing shows and such? It's kind of a weird question, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes you see somebody do something and you kind of learn what not to do. But also other times you know, watching people, I think one of the biggest things is like pacing.
Yeah.
And timing, like when to kind of start talking again.
You see someone step on their joke, step on their laughter of a joke, and then you're like, oh, I get it now. Because when you're on stage, you don't feel that.
Right. It's hard to notice on stage.
Absolutely.
Do that.
And it's definitely something that, I feel like I'm improving on constantly. But I think that it's one of the things that is harder when you're starting out. From what I've seen too, just seeing newer comics starting out, and noticing one of the things that happens is they've memorized their jokes in a specific way that they want to tell them, and so they might be going too fast, or they're just thinking about what it is that they want to say, and not so much what's going on in the room.
Right.
So like being present in the room is one of the biggest things that I've really learned watching people, especially people who are much more seasoned and who really are more comfortable on stage and more comfortable kind of being in the room and interacting with everything that's going on around them. People love to feel like they're included, and even just mentioning something that is that you see in the room is like, I've seen that go over so well so many times, you know.
And tying that back to music, do you think as a drummer, someone who's keeping time, is there any relation between being in a band and playing the drums and doing comedy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing that has like the least to do with comedy is the fact that, you know, you're in a band, you're involved with all these other people.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was like that I really loved the idea about being able to go and do comedy was that, I don't have to lug this drum set down to my car and go and set it up and play for 15 minutes and then break it down and put it back in my car and then take it out of my car. It's like I can show up with a piece of paper in my pocket at the least, you know, and sometimes not even that, you know. So that's been one of the biggest things for me that has really drawn me to comedy instead.
Comedy's
aside from
for
just
lazy
loving
people.
it. Yeah, in some ways. But in terms of timing, like absolutely. And like I like to write material that has a lot of different layers too.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, try to think about the inner beats of things. And, you know, I mean, the audience is a huge part of a stand-up performance.
Yep.
If there isn't one, it's just you talking to an empty room, and you might as well just be doing that at home.
Yeah, you can't. You have to have at least one other person listening to what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's a conversation. I can't remember who said it, but I listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff and interviews, and I wish I could remember who said this, but they said it's basically a conversation, a one-sided conversation where you are talking to the audience, and the audience's response is laughter.
Yeah.
And so
It's very weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. But yeah, relating it to music, it's like, you know, there are some nights where the audience is hot and they're laughing and they're giving you everything that you need, and it's like jazz. It's like music. It's like this, you can kind of like pause a little bit longer and get a little bit more of a laugh from a joke, or you can kind of like roll it right into the next thing. And yeah, that's the kind of like when you have a night like that, those are the kinds of nights that I chase after.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's those are the ones that make me like give me the fuel to like go and do it again, you know, because when you have nights where when you're struggling to get that laugh, it can be pretty painful. I tape every single one of my shows, videotape.
Oh.
Yeah, there's only been a couple that I haven't.
You must be an iPhone user.
No, I'm not actually. I have an Android, but I tape them all, and I only have one video up on YouTube at the moment. I have a bunch that are unpublished on there that I'll send to like bookers or close friends or that kind of thing. But I haven't publicly published a lot of stuff. But I tape every single one because I go back and I watch it and I learn a lot from that. For me, like the writing of the jokes isn't that difficult. It can be tricky coming up with new material, but the work doesn't really, like, you can write jokes and you can put them in a specific order and you can memorize them and get up on stage and tell them in front of people and hopefully get the response that you're looking for, which is laughter. But having the footage and being able to go and then like, okay, what didn't work? Like, what words are unnecessary here? Do I need to change the order? Am I doing something weird with my face? Did I like say something confrontational to somebody that they didn't like? Was there, do they not like the subject matter? Like, what is it about this that didn't work? Or how do I make it better? Or like, do I just need to like sit there for a little bit longer to get the laugh or to build the laugh, you know? And so those are the types of things that I really look at and think about when I'm working on stuff.
So what do you have for your goals with stand-up comedy? What do you hope to achieve?
I mean, I think it would be amazing to be a household name, but I don't know that I'm going to get there. And if I don't get there, that's okay. I would love for that to be the case. I know it takes a tremendous amount of work and it's a huge grind to get there. I really want to get to a point where it is my full-time job, where I'm able to support myself and have it be the thing that I do, either comedy or comedy adjacent things. I love it. It's just, I don't know, like I've been passionate about other things like drums and music in the past, but not to the same degree or level, I don't think, that I am with comedy. I really am driven to try and push this further. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be I would love to be a household name. I would love to be, you know, selling out massive performance venues.
There is something very intoxicating about that idea.
Yeah.
It really is. And we do have comedians here in the state of Maine who are, I wouldn't call them household names, but people do know who they are.
Sure.
You know, so it is an achievable goal.
And they've been in like blockbuster films and all of that, you know? And so, yeah, it is a possibility, but I'm also not so delusional or naive to think that like it's going to happen, or
if you don't work towards it,
to.
then it won't happen for sure.
It's true. Yeah. And that's a big part of it too, because like, you know, there's a lot about this whole thing, like that first time that I went on stage and every time that I go on stage and pushing it to be kind of like the main thing, there's this like, I don't want to get to the point where I reach a stage in my life where I'm like, what if I had done that?
Right.
You know, I don't really have any real regrets at this point in my life. we all think back and say, oh, if I had done this a little bit differently, this is where I might be on my path. It's like, yeah, that's okay. But I don't really have any regret for where I'm at, but I would love to get to the point where I'm doing stand up like every single night, I would do it every single night if the opportunity was there.
I agree with you. I do.
Awesome.
What do you say?
This is good. We want to move on to our final segment of the interview.
Unless there's anything that you absolutely have to talk about.
Oh, I mean, I do want to say that, I thank you guys for having me on this podcast.
I wasn't fishing for that, but that's fine.
Should I wait and say that at the end?
No. Now's good.
Now's good.
Yeah, say it multiple times. That's fine.
I'm surprised you haven't said it yet, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's only been an hour.
I mean, and that's really the reason that I joined the River Comics was to.
Yes, that's right. We neglected to mention this that Ian is actually the now the fourth member of our River Comics comedy production team, and we have really been appreciative of having you on. You've been a good addition to our team, and also a nice voice on our team. Where sometimes when we get into it a little bit, you chime in with something that is cutting to the point of the situation, or removing some bullshit that we're going through. Whatever. It's been good to have you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that I could help.
We love your infectious energy.
It is. I know. It's people just
it's sobering.
I get people
got a sobering
riled up
energy
sometimes, No, but I've really enjoyed my time working in the River Comics and helping to produce shows and build the scene in Maine, and
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's the whole reason that I joined the River Comics was so I could get on this podcast.
We probably would have had you regardless, but
yeah, wish we'd have known earlier, but okay.
Yeah, I wish we'd been doing this earlier.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about starting my own podcast too. Actually.
Oh, really?
Let's go right now. Ready? What's your name of your podcast going to be?
Oh, I don't know. It's just.
Would you interview us two at the same time for your first one?
I have thought about doing a podcast. I just don't know
What would be your first question?
My first question?
Yeah.
Do you like podcasts?
Oh, well, let me tell you a story about podcasts.
Make sure you think of a name that you can pronounce well.
Oh, for Christ's sakes.
A name that you can pronounce well?
Make sure it doesn't rhyme with taint. In some weird random way.
This
Only
is
bit of
That's my curse, the darkness, right there.
I thought this was the Comedy Thin Taint podcast.
Thin taint. That would be so much better.
Oh, next time.
Fuck.
Season 7, we'll rename the podcast.
Am I not on the Comedy Thin Taint podcast right now?
Why did I wear this uniform? This is a very embarrassing outfit to have on. If we're not on the Thin Taint. Leonard.
There'd be less confusion if you'd just gone with perineum.
Oh,
all right. Curse of darkness. Okay, so there's an idiom that goes, I'd rather light a
what
candle.
What did you call me?
There's an idiot that says, I'd rather light a candle than curse the darkness. And so it means like I'd rather, do things about my problems instead of just complaining about them. So in opposition of that, we'd like you to actually complain about something for which you don't plan on doing anything to fix.
I had thought about this quite a bit, listening to the podcast. Like, what would I say in answer to that? And I wish I could remember all the things that I had come up with.
We have time for one, so.
Oh, okay. So now, are you looking for something out in the world or for me personally?
Either one.
Either one is okay.
Yeah, something that's relatable would be fine. I mean,
yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, but the one place that I get really worked up. The thing that really gets my goat, if you will, is riding in a car. I get really bad road rage.
Like not driving. You're the rider. You're the passenger.
Driving when I'm driving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget I'm driving. So
I'm so mad that I forgot I was driving.
It's terrifying for my passengers. But like, have you ever just been driving down the highway and you're like, oh, I'm driving the car right now? I had that
almost exclusively.
Last week I was driving down to Portland and I'm driving a car right now. I was just driving and it suddenly came to me, you know, when you just realize I'm alive.
Yeah.
When you have that thought, like
you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Okay, I'm off topic.
No. You're doing fine. Are you saying that your issue is your bad road rage? You're not going to do anything about your bad road rage? You're such a calm person. How can you even?
I have really bad road rage, but the issue isn't with me.
Is it because you have a shitty car?
No. See, this is the thing. The issue isn't. It's not my problem.
Oh.
It's all of the other people.
Oh.
It's not me. It's them.
I don't have time to fix their problems with me.
It is the one time where I get really, really angry driving a car. Like I hate when people are taking a left-hand turn and there, you know, there's a left-hand turn lane and there's a lane to the right of them to go straight. The people who are driving a normal-sized vehicle and they hook it to the right before they take that left-hand turn.
Yeah.
Like they're driving a tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not driving an 18-wheeler.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I'm not trying to stereotype anybody, but
here we go.
But it's the person driving it is never somebody who you would expect to see behind an 18-wheeler either. So they're just
like a blonde teenage girl or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
I just where did you think I was going to?
I don't know.
Who the hell knows?
Yeah. That's true. But yeah, or just when people just don't use their blinker, that really pisses me off too.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
That bothers me too.
Yeah.
It's when though they do that sort of thing, but they're not going 5 miles over the speed limit or something. It's always like they're already slowing you down.
Yeah.
And then it's like they're going under the speed limit. They're doing weird things. They're bobbing, and then they don't use their blinker too. And it's like you just want to fucking throw a chair at their head because
absolutely.
You're like, what are you doing on the road? And why is it 8 a.m. in the morning on a Monday too?
Exactly.
Because we all have to go to work. Clearly, you're not going to work.
Yeah, and you just in that moment, like you said, you wish that you had a chair to throw at them. You're like, why don't I keep chairs in my car to throw at these people? Or
heavy ones.
Or they're coming straight at you across the yellow line. That pisses me off more than anything.
Yeah. Or they're tailgating you. You have a small car like I do.
Yeah.
Do you like the guys with the big trucks getting in the rear view?
Oh, I got tailgated last night.
It's the worst.
In your
on the
window.
Riverside. You know, that road where it's like 25 miles an hour over in Auburn.
Yeah.
And like I'm in cruise control. I'm at like 26 miles an hour and I'm going relatively slow and someone's
right in your window.
Right on my bumper. And I'm like, I cannot speed up because you told me like you've gotten pulled over and that because cops hide there all the time. Yeah. And I'm getting close to the Dunkin' Donuts, and then off the road, a cruiser pulls up, like a police cruiser comes by, and like he doesn't light us up because we're doing a speed limit, but he goes by, and then the car behind me goes like, oh fuck, yeah, okay, yeah. And then he slows down and gets off my bumper.
Idiot! Yeah. Oh god, yeah. No, I actually now that you say this,
the other thing that pisses me off too. Is the headlights.
Yeah, they're all so bright. Everything is,
I need to apologize to everyone on main roads. I have a new car, and it looks like my headlights. It looks like my high beams are on all the time. And I'm sorry.
I know.
Yeah,
it's worse.
They'll see you coming.
Yeah,
when you see them turn it off, but like a little bit too late. You know, it's like
just as you're passing.
Just as I'm passing.
Like,
oh, I'm sorry.
I want to blind that deer behind you.
Oh, here comes a chair.
They have to have seen me coming, right? They have to see the light of my car coming.
No, they don't. They don't care. They're in their own fucking little world.
Oh,
they just realize they're driving a car.
Yes.
They're having the same issues that I was having.
They can see the tops of the trees being lit up. You know, they know you're coming.
I think we've done some healing here today.
I like this. This was good. Yeah.
Because now that you point out the fact that other people are having the same existential crisis as now that you point out that other people are having that same issue as I am, like I think I can be a little more calm.
I think everyone on the road is going through the same fucking thing, and that's the problem: is that we all don't understand that each person is having the same crises that we're having at the same moment.
Yeah,
you know.
I wish they would just realize that I'm more important than them.
Well, someday they will when you're a household name.
Yeah.
This whole thing is going to make me sound like an egotist.
It is what it is.
Sound like you say.
You just have to accept it.
That's why no one likes us. No, we really appreciate you being part of our little production group and being part of our podcast here and just being part of the main comedy scene in general. Because
thank you.
Yeah, really do appreciate it. Thank you very much, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the River Comics did make a lot of sense since I grew up in Auburn to be a part of the group that was coming from there. Yeah.
No, we were a natural choice and our first ask.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Oh,
you're laughing now.
2021. Her first ask of 2021.
I'm just kidding.
Thank you very much. Ian MacDonald, everyone.
Just while we're still recording, play a little drums for us, please. I'm dead serious. I want to hear it.
He's not serious at all.
Come on. I just want to hear like a little thing. We want to get a little bit on tape.
You're going to bring your mic?
I'll bring my mic in.
Okay.
We're going to go in. Yeah, that's fine. He's wheeling the stool up. Here we go. Here we go, folks. Ian MacDonald, everyone. Beautiful. Do a quick rim shot. Thank you.
Wow. Just like my Xbox.
Yeah.
That was Ian MacDonald, the newest member of the River Comics. So happy to get a chance to sit down and talk with him. Or was I?
No, you were. And
I think I gave the wrong inflection on the end of that statement.
I wasn't quite sure where we were going with that, but no, I've enjoyed all of our time with Ian, and it struck me that he was just now getting involved in comedy. 2018, I didn't even realize that. Like the pandemic's really fucked up our timeline, man.
Right. I totally assumed that he had been doing it much longer than you or I, or especially you, because he's much better than you are.
All right. Thanks to everyone who listened. Tell your friends and follow Comedy Think Tanked wherever you can. Be sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Find us on Instagram at Comedy Think Tanked, Twitter at Comedy Tanked, and our website, comedythinktanked.com. Email us at comedythinktanked@gmail.com. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Theme music was written and produced by a minor, Ralph Birgfeld. No comedians were hurt in the production of this podcast. All audio snippets of actual funny punchlines were not written or performed by any of us or our subsidiaries. Rather, they are express written bits of professionals we admire. Let the civil actions be filed. Any opinion heard, actual or implied, is that of the Comedy Think Tank producers and their guests. Any slight, insult, affront, slur, disparaging remark, snub, rebuff, rejection, or spurning, no matter how derogatory, pejorative, or abusive you may feel it is, was not intended, but for comedic, entertaining purposes only. Thanks for listening.
Boom, 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 boom. That's nearly unlistenable.